Hello, yogis. Megan here with Yoga with Megan, and we're just going to jump right into child's pose. Coming onto your knees, dropping your forehead down, arms overhead. And while you're settling in here, I just wanted to share with you that this practice is coming to you from Faywood, New Mexico. If you've already done the 20-minute practice, this will be very similar, just a little bit longer with some more intensity. Begin to feel the weight of your forehead pressing onto the mat. And pick up your hands and spread your fingers out wide, and then intentionally press each finger pad back onto the ground. In your next exhale, I want you to press out every last little bit of air you can. Your belly button should press towards your spine. And then take a deep, full inhale in, everything expanding, belly out. Your back might rise. And then another deep, full exhale. One more big inhale. Now this time, if you haven't already, zip up your lips and exhale out your nose. Come into your Ujjayi breath. Take a moment to really land here now. Doing your best to allow any outside distractions to be exactly that, outside. Outside of your practice, off of your mat, outside of your mind. Press up onto all fours. And to take 3 cat-cow poses. I want you to press your belly down, lifting your heart and your tailbone up. And then exhale, curling everything down and in. Tailbone lifts. Pardon me, not tailbone, spine lifts. Woo! And then the opposite here. Yeah, rolling through your spine. Making your way to downward facing dog. So if you are unfamiliar with Faywood, New Mexico, it is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, Deming is the closest town, and then Silver City is the next closest town. Pedal out your legs, waking up the body. And so part of the magic and beauty of this remote location is the night sky. Step your feet to your hands for a ragdoll. Generous bend in the knees. Catch opposite elbows, sway the torso. Come to stillness. Shake your head yes and no. And then tuck your chin a little bit closer towards your chest. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And then exhale, palms by your side, standing at attention at the top of your mat. Let your eyes close. Pick up all 10 toes. Pull them apart and press just your big toe into the ground. Feel the activation on the arch, the underside of your foot. And then gently press the rest of your toes back into the mat. Standing with purpose. This is your moment to shine. Like an evening star in Faywood. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Take a moment here to really explore the pose. And then fold back down, hands to the mat, coming to high push-up. Pause here. And then lower all the way down. Bring your hands by your shoulders off to the side. Tent your fingers, lift just the torso up. And then exhale, drop one shoulder, look over the other shoulder for a little front of the chest stretch. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, tap the forehead down. Downward facing dog. Nice work. Just stay here in your down dog. Take a moment to find any extension you need. Maybe you walk your feet back a little further. Maybe you bend your knees so you can tilt the tailbone more. So it truly is so magical here at night. You can literally see the Milky Way. Like, what the hell, man? We live in such an interesting place. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, feet to hands. Halfway lift and fold. Rise all the way up to Tadasana. Forward fold, back down. Halfway lift, high and low push-up. Lifting your heart up, cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. What I mean by such an interesting place is like we exist. When you can truly see the cosmos, it is humbling to know that somehow all of these atoms and neurons and science shit came together and made us as humans. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise up to Tadasana like a rushing stream of water. Exhale, fold back over your legs. Halfway lift. Flow through your high and low push-up into your up dog. Back to your down dog. But it truly is, in my opinion, a miracle. Like all of these atoms came together to create the universe, and then the planet, and then you and me. And we get to exist here together now. And I am overwhelmed by the possibility that means for our lives. One more Sun A. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, bring your feet to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Rise all the way up to Tadasana. Same thing, rushing water, fold over your legs. Halfway lift. High push-up, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Pause here for a moment. Downward facing dog. And it just really makes me think, like, if we can be created in all of this chaos, then surely there is a purpose. There is a reason. Look between your fingertips. Take your feet to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale, come all the way up to Tadasana. And then take a chair pose, any variation you like, so your feet can stay parallel, or you can bring your big toes to touch. Just try not to point the toes outward, right? We really want to protect the knees. Take a couple of deep breaths here. I want you to envision the Milky Way, that entire solar system inside of your being. So every time you inhale, all of these stars, all of these planets, they expand and they grow. And then every time you exhale, they contract. One more breath here. You've got it. It's your first chair pose. It's always a doozy. Inhale one more time. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. high push-up, low push-up, upward facing, pausing at the top, downward facing. Inhale, right leg forward, warrior one. So for your warrior one, you're just going to step your right foot between your hands, lift your torso up. Your left toes are roughly, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on the mat. And then go ahead and take your stance as wide as you need to give your hips some opportunity to face forward. So if the front of your hips were headlights on a car, you want your car going just one direction. In the direction of the purpose that the universe has for your life, because you were created in all of this craziness and you are here now. One more breath. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left leg forward, warrior one. So I want you to go ahead and press through the outside blade of your right foot. And then the big toe of your left foot. Go ahead and pick up the other 4 toes. And breathe, right? We're still in Ujjayi here. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So this really, truly has me thinking like, what am I here for? And I ask the same question of you. What are you here for? Right now in this practice, I hope you're here to get clarity on that. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, jump right away, chair pose. Chest up, hips down, fingers wide, making space, right? Between each finger is its own universe. And it's expanding and growing and needing space. One more breath. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Flow to your down dog. Inhale this time, right leg up. And then exhale, step through, lift the torso up. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, back down, high and low push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step through. Inhale, torso lifts, warrior one. And then right back down, high and low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. This idea, right? Like in all of this, these atoms came together in this particular order at this particular time to put you on the planet here now. Chair pose. Sink the hips low, lift the torso high, and let the cosmos between each rib expand. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, high and low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right leg forward, warrior one. Settle in here. Vinyasa. Yeah, so you're just going to flow through and then go immediately to your left side. So I ask you, why are you here? Not because like you have to have this great answer or even because you have to have an answer at all, but because it's a really pertinent question. We're just going to meet in down dog when you're done with your flow. Because if we don't know our why, then obviously we don't know a how. So we don't know how we're living our lives. We don't know if we're in integrity because we don't know what integrity is for our lives, for the picture of our lives. And then that leads to all of this like latent stress where all of a sudden you're wearing your shoulders like earrings, or you have high blood pressure, or you're obese, like all of these things that just kind of lead us to be out of integrity with ourselves. Take a big full inhale and just sigh it out. Come back to Ujjayi. Inhale, right leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hip. Yeah, you can flip your dog if you want. I'm not rocking that today, but you can. And then step through warrior one. Inhale your torso up and then exhale, open to warrior two. And take a moment here to just get grounded, to enjoy this pose. Feeling like your arms are just pulling away from your torso, opening up. Energy shooting through your fingertips. Pick up all of your toes in every foot, in both feet. Drop each big toe back down. Cartwheel your arms. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing, downward facing. Left leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Really getting into the side body here. A little soft rotation in the shoulders, and then maybe you come back to center. Step through warrior one. And then opening to warrior two. Doing our best to allow each side to be equal. That's part of our integrity, right? Is equanimity, the equality between our words and our actions. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And then eventually, right, we want to have equanimity between our thoughts and our words and our actions. Our thoughts are so difficult though, right? Because sometimes they just kind of pass through us like a vessel. And so it's really a long-term game to manage what passes through. Right leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hips. If you want, flip your dog. Breathe here, whichever pose you're picking, pick it. Like, really pick it. This is what you're doing. This is it. Flex your feet, pull your toes apart. Deep Ujjayi breath. Step through warrior one. Open to warrior two. Reverse your front palm, reverse your warrior. So really focusing again on both sides of the ribs, having space, expansiveness. And then extended side angle. You're going to drop your right elbow to your right thigh, or put your hand on a block or your hand on the floor. And I want you to be aware of the alignment of your hips. Sometimes we kind of push our hips behind us just so we can touch the ground, and that's not the point. That's not the point at all. Touching the ground is never the point. Integrity of alignment, that's the point. One more breath. Left fingertips are alive. High push-up. Low push-up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Inhale, left leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Maybe you flip your dog. Same thing as before, right? Making a choice and then living that choice for the next few breaths, which is all we can do. Live our choices for a few breaths at a time. Coming back through center, warrior one. Opening to warrior two. Reverse your palm, reverse your warrior. And notice, right, does this side feel any different than the other side? Maybe it just feels exactly the same, like, oh my gosh, it needed that stretch. Or maybe you're noticing, ooh, my right low back is really tight, and so crunching it down hurts. I need to lift more out of my hip. And then extended side angle. As much as possible, getting to a 90-degree angle with your left front leg. But again, there's no like trophy for doing that. You don't get anything other than like, oh, okay, I'm seeing progress. And that's all we need, progress. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing, downward facing. Yes. Go ahead and take a big full inhale and then just sigh it out. Letting go of whatever is not currently serving you. And then come back to your Ujjayi breath. I have to tell you, there are some hot springs here in Faywood. And getting to sit in, I don't know, thousands of year old water, maybe millions, in the middle of the night. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bugs. I'm covered in bug bites. But like being with the planet is amazing. Right leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hips. If you haven't already, flip your dog. This is the time. Shining out through your chest. Maybe you come into a wheel pose. And then coming back over, right? If you flipped, flip back. Stepping your right foot through, warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Extended side angle. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left leg up. Bend your knees, stack your hips, flip your dog. Shining your heart out. Coming back over, warrior one, warrior two, reverse your warrior, extended side angle. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So the reason I have the opportunity to be in this like amazing, beautiful place connected with nature is because I'm furloughed from my job, right? And I could have easily spent the last 6 weeks really upset and bitter and angry that my pay's been cut in half and I have nothing to do all day. But instead, I'm choosing to find a sense of adventure in places that actually make me feel safer and healthier than being trapped in a big city. So I hope that you figure out your purpose during this quarantine. Right leg up. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Extended side angle. High push-up. Low push-up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left leg up. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse. Extended. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Nice work. I mean, y'all, you're 20 minutes into practice and you've already done 80 poses. This is amazing. Good work. Sorry if keeping track of time stresses you out. There is no time. You're fine. We're going to take that same flow but with a different variation now. Inhale your right leg up. Take a pause here, right? This is its own pose. Exhale, step through to warrior one. Inhale as the torso lifts. Exhale to warrior two. Straighten your front knee. Take a reverse triangle. So it's the same pose we've already done a couple times, only this time both legs are straight. And then coming into triangle pose, if you have a block or a book, please, for the love of all things holy, use it. The goal here is to really pull the torso away from the hips, allowing the hips as much as possible to stack one on top of the other. Their spine is long, and then maybe someday you touch the ground. But again, nobody cares. Even the universe doesn't care if you touch the ground. Settle in for some breath here. Come back to your warrior two. And then cartwheel the arms. High push-up, low push-up, upward facing, downward facing. Left leg up. Exhaling through, warrior one, inhaling torso. Exhale, open, warrior two. Straighten your front leg, reverse triangle. Taking a moment here to negotiate what needs to happen on this side of your body. And then shifting, tilting the other way, Trikonasana. Becoming really aware of your breath. Are you still breathing in the cosmos? Back to warrior two. Chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing. Exhale that out. Let's do a reset, right? Inhale, right leg up. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse triangle. And then triangle pose. Yes. Figuring out in this moment, what is your purpose? Warrior two. Cartwheel the arms, high push-up, low push-up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left leg up. Step through to warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse triangle. Triangle. Yeah, so maybe your purpose of this practice is just to make it through the whole way. Yeah. Warrior two. Cartwheel your arms, high push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop into a child's pose here. That was an intense warm-up. If that just terrified you, that's okay. The warm-up is the hardest part, in my opinion. One more breath. And notice the difference partway through your practice, right? You began in this pose. So what are you already noticing here and now? And sometimes even what you're noticing is just like an emotion. Sometimes it's agitation or irritation. Maybe it's exhilaration. Maybe it's a place of inquiry or possibility. Come back to your downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. Step through warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. So the front knee is still bent or bent again. And then take your half moon. So you might need your block handy, and you're just going to launch into your half moon from here. So a block under the hand is super helpful. This is a difficult transition, but play with it here. And let your back foot be flexed. So your toes are actually pointing towards your knee as opposed to away. Now from here, I want you to flatten your hips and come to an airplane pose. Again, this is a difficult transition. But you, my child, are made of stardust, so anything is possible. Stay for one more breath. And then drop your left foot to the ground, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. High push-up. Low push-up, upward facing, shine out here, downward facing. Left leg up, warrior one. Warrior 2, reverse warrior. Extended side angle, and then launch into your half moon. So you're balancing left foot on the ground, left hand on the ground or a block, right hip as much as possible, stacking over left, stacking your shoulders. Maybe you twist the head up or look down. That's really up to your preference. And then with a gentle bend in your left knee, I want you to just drop your right hip so it's level with your left to come to airplane. Any arm variation you prefer. One more breath. Step your right foot down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Yes. I dig that one. We might have to do that one again. Let me check the time. Oh, we can totally do that series again. So get ready, right? You know where we're going. Sometimes we have this, if I'd only known, I would have. I have that in life a lot. So now you get to have that mulligan in your practice right here and now. Right leg up. Warrior 1. Open to warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Launching into your half moon here. What would you do differently? Maybe you have a little more joy and lightness. And then coming into your airplane pose, flattening the sacrum, shoulder blades squeezing together so there's a small up dog in the back. Step the feet together, forward fold. Halfway lift, high push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Great. Left leg up. Stepping through warrior 1, excuse me. Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Extended side angle. Half moon. What part of the cosmos can you incorporate into your half moon? Right, you are currently so powerful you control the ocean, right? You're a moon. Coming into airplane. Press through the back of your foot, right? Your flying foot is actually anchoring you to the gravity behind you. And the crown of your head is pulling away from that anchor. Stepping your feet together, forward fold. Halfway lift, high push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right leg, warrior 1. Open to warrior 2. Come to star pose. So your toes are going to face the outside corners of your mat. Your arms are just going to come straight up. You're going to be your own little 5-pointed star. Your head is the other point, for those of you who don't know that. And then squat into a goddess pose. So you're just going to lower your hips. Your knees will bend, keeping your arms up and out. Breathing, always a great choice. Come back to your star pose. Take your toes to face the flat edge of your mat, and then wide-legged forward fold. And allow yourself to hang here, right? So your torso is just like loose water over your legs. No rigidity. I think sometimes when we feel like we have found our purpose, we can get rigid in that, and it can make us harsh and can actually take us off path, because life is about flow. And you kind of think about like these stars just kind of like floating around. And when they get rigid and set on one course, it's like a meteor. I don't know, it comes crashing down. I'm not a scientist, so if this is like driving you crazy that it sounds like utter scientific nonsense, you're fine. One more breath here in your forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips. With a straight spine, lift your torso up. Cartwheel the arms, high push-up, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. This practice has had a lot of chaturangas. Don't worry, we're going to work that out. Left leg up. Stepping through warrior one. Opening to warrior two. Star pose. So I feel like this pose is a lot like Samastitihi, which is that like you feel like you're just standing there. But that's the whole point, is to stand there with purpose and confidence. Pick up all of your toes. Drop your big toes down, activating the arch of your foot yet again. And then letting the rest of your toes settle intentionally onto the mat. Bending your knees, dropping in for a goddess pose. Breathing. Vitality coursing through your veins. Come back up to your star. Now I want you to take reverse prayer, reverse namaste. So hands behind the back. You want your fingertips pointing up. This can take a minute to figure out. And based on how tight you are, it might not happen at all. So you can just grab opposite elbows and then forward fold. And even though you feel like you might fall because your arms are behind you, I want you to trust yourself and make sure that the weight of your body is like 70% in the balls of your feet and 30% in the heels. So you might have to bend the knees a little bit to shift your weight. And just trust that if you need your hands, they will magically come out from behind you and catch you. And allowing this interesting front of the body and back of the body opening to occur at the same time, right? So the upper body is getting an opening across the chest and into the shoulders. The back of the body is getting it through the hamstrings and the low back. One more breath. Release your arms down. Just hang here. That's it. That's what you're doing. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift your torso up. Cartwheel your arms. High push-up. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Yes, great work. We're going to come into half pigeon here. So inhale your right leg up. Exhale, bring your right leg through. You're going to place your knee and your foot, your ankle, as close to your wrists as possible. And then untuck your back toes, allowing your left knee to drop to the mat. Give yourself a moment here with your torso lifted. This can be a really intense pose, so if you need to bend your foot closer, your right foot closer towards your hips, you just do that. The long-term goal is to create a 90-degree angle. And then as you're ready, if you'd like, bow over your front leg. And always use props, right? Like pillows, blocks. Allow yourself the tools you need to be successful. I feel like sometimes people don't use a yoga block in this weird way to like punish themselves for not being perfect. And yet the only thing that's going to get them to their goal is to use the very thing they're resisting. Anyways, I feel like that's true for a lot of things. So I call back to you the question I asked you near the beginning of practice. What is your purpose? What is your why? Why are you here? And the best part about this question is that answer can change, and it should change, and it doesn't have to be like long term, right? Like I'm not asking you, why are you here for eternity? I'm asking you here, like, why are you here today? Maybe today you are here on this planet to provide a meal for your children. Or maybe you're here to call a friend. Or maybe you're here just to exist. Maybe that's it. Your mere presence is all that's requested of the universe. Man, these stars have me on like a massive hippie kick. I'm gonna have to get back to the city soon. I know this pose can be intense. That's why I'm helping distract you by talking to you. But your goal is to just exhale in. Right? Letting your exhale help dive you deeper into the pose. Inhale, lift your torso back up. Exhale, swing your left leg on top of your right for fire log and or double pigeon. It's got multiple names. Same thing here, right? Like if you need to sit on a block, if you need to put a block under each knee or one knee, just take the opportunity to try to allow both sit bones to be flush to the ground. And then eventually long term, you want your knees and your ankles stacking. So you don't want the ankles coming in close to the hips, you want them at a 90-degree angle. And if you already know all about this pose and you want to fold into it, like rock that out. Inhale, lift your torso up. And then swing your right leg behind you, setting up for a half pigeon with the left leg forward. So take a few moments here to really settle in, acknowledging that each side of your body is different and giving each side what it needs to be successful. And then as you're ready, exhaling over your front left leg. Continue that imagery in your mind that the cosmos are inside of you. So every time you're inhaling, they're expanding and you're creating space in the body. And then every time you exhale, they're contracting and you're allowed to go a little deeper into your own Milky Way, right? Your own planet, whatever you need, your own star, moon, whatever you need. I mean, I've often wondered if like other planets see our planet and see all of us humans as like sparkling beings and they think that we are actually the sun. Maybe we are. Maybe you are the light of the life of those you love. Couple more breaths. Inhale your torso up, swinging your back leg around and front on top for double pigeon on the opposite side. Taking a moment, right? Take the adjustments you need, shifting accordingly before settling in. Untuck your legs, bring both legs out in front of you. Make sure that your sit bones are flush to the ground. Inhale your arms up, your legs are extended, and then just seated forward fold. So the goal here is that your tailbone is actually behind you, not underneath you. So that way you can hinge at the hips, letting the bowl of the pelvis spill over the thighs. Allowing every breath to create change in your physical being. Maybe even in your emotional and spiritual too, right? It's all connected. Inhale your torso up. And then just roll down gently onto the back on your spine. Knees bent. And just windshield wiper your legs side to side. Letting the low back settle onto the mat. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Take your arms to a T. And then drop your knees to the left. You might have to readjust your spine here, whatever you need to do to try to keep integrity of the spine, but create a variation on the standard supine twist. And then, of course, you can always tilt your head to look away from your knees or keep looking straight up. It's really up to what your body needs in this practice right now. And let there be a relaxation here, right? So truly dropping in. Bringing your legs back to center, head back to neutral if it moved. Cross your left over your right. Drop your knees to the right. Look over the left. And notice, right, if your body is its own solar system, is there anything that currently feels out of whack in your own personal Milky Way? And maybe you send some strategic breath to that area. Like truly envisioning your oxygen rushing down through if it's into the low back, and imagining each little molecule of air helping create an expansive space wherever you might feel tension or stuck. The mind's eye is a powerful tool. Coming back to center, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees wide, and take any arm variation you like. You can put your hands on your chest and belly, you can bring your arms overhead or by your side, but I just ask whatever you choose that you kind of tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, giving your neck space. And dropping out of your Ujjayi breath. Allowing your natural breath to happen here. then I invite you to release the question of what is your purpose or who are you. Just let that go. And for the next few minutes, I want you to just exist. You're going to have thoughts. That's human nature. So allow those thoughts to just kind of like twinkle like stars where you can't really focus on them, but you know they're there. You acknowledge their existence, but they don't drive any decisions in the moment. And like always, I will bring you back into your body when it's time to close our practice. Drop back in to your stardust-made body. Just becoming aware of your physical being. Notice the weight of your body on your mat. Maybe the temperature of the air around you. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you roll your head side to side. And then come to a fetal position on either side. And take a couple of deep breaths here. And really acknowledge yourself for showing up for your practice. But then acknowledge yourself for your existence. Take a moment of wonder and awe that of all the molecules in all the worlds, you are put together to be part of this moment in time, here and now, connected through all of the people who you've met and not met. Make your way up to a seated position. Go ahead and let your palms face down on your knees. Like truly being inward for this moment. Acknowledging your own personal magic and purpose. Take a really big full inhale in, absorbing as much as you can, and a gentle exhale out. And then flip your palms up, acknowledging the magic and power of the universe at large, all of the stardust around you, and every other human. Big inhale, gentle sigh, and bring your hands to heart center. And the place in me that glitters with stardust and possibility and purpose acknowledges the place in you that does the same. Together we say, Namaste. Thank you, yogis, and have a wonderful day.